Let's begin with this expanded version of Key Point 1, designed in a Jefferson Fisher style tone, calm, grounded, direct, and mentally empowering. You ever notice how one bad day can feel like your whole world is falling apart? Like everything you've built, everything you've believed in about yourself just starts crumbling, all because of 24 difficult hours. It's wild how the mind works. One setback, one argument, one failure, and suddenly your inner critic gets louder than your inner strength. You begin questioning yourself. Am I really capable? Am I even moving forward? Or is this all just a waste? But let's take a step back. One day, just *1 holds 440 minutes, that's it. It's not your entire story. It's not the measure of your worth. It's not the full truth about who you are. The danger comes when we mistake a moment in time for a permanent identity. We let a single bad chapter rewrite our entire narrative, and that's a mental trap that too many people walk into without even realizing it. This happens because we're wired for patterns. Psychologically, the brain is always trying to make sense of pain. It searches for cause, for meaning, for something to label. And unfortunately, when we're hurting, it's easy to stamp a label that says, I'm broken, I'm failing, or I'm not enough. But pain is not a definition, it's a signal. It's not a verdict on your future, it's just a flag asking for attention, not surrender. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology ever did. Epictetus said, people are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. You see, it's not the hard day that breaks us. It's the story we attach to it. It's the idea that a bad 24 hours is somehow proof of a bad life. But that story is optional. You can change it. Let's get brutally honest for a second. You've survived every bad day you've ever had. You might not have enjoyed them. You might carry scars from them, but you're here. You're breathing, you're listening. That tells me you're still in the game. So clearly, a bad day didn't break you. Not then, not now. What breaks us is not the event. It's the erosion of perspective. We stop seeing the long game. We forget the progress. We let the temporary cloud our view of the eternal. And the solution isn't some fluffy affirmation or forced positivity. No, it's about building a reset muscle, the psychological ability to stop yourself in the moment, zoom out, and remember, this is just today. It is not forever, and I get it. When you're in it, when you're knee deep in disappointment, rejection, frustration, it's not easy to zoom out. It feels personal. It is personal, but personal doesn't mean permanent. One day of failure does not undo your discipline. One emotional breakdown doesn't erase years of growth. One missed shot doesn't make you a loser. Here's something practical. Whenever your mind starts spiraling after a bad day, ask yourself this simple question. What does this actually mean long term? Not what your emotions say. Not what your fear whispers. But what does this one day, this isolated storm, really mean for the bigger picture of your life? Chances are, it means something small. It might be a signal to rest, to rethink, to adapt. It might even be a moment preparing you for something greater. But it rarely means the end. The truth is, we are meaning-making machines, and we get to choose the meaning. You can decide that today is just a training ground for tomorrow's resilience. You can decide that today isn't a curse, it's clarity. A wake-up call, a necessary resistance for future strength. That choice is yours. Now here's where the reset begins. It's not in pretending everything's fine. It's in realizing that everything doesn't have to be fine in order for you to keep going. You don't need perfection to have purpose. You don't need confidence to take the next step, just enough courage to not give up. I'll leave you with this. You are bigger than your worst 24 hours. Always have been, always will be. Let the day end, but never let it define you. Absolutely, here is an expanded 900-word segment for ***. Key point 2. Pause, don't panic. ***, written in the calm, intellectual yet grounded tone similar to Jefferson Fisher's motivational style. It continues seamlessly from key point 1, maintaining the same depth and flow. So now that we've made peace with the truth, that one bad day doesn't define you, let's talk about what usually happens within those bad days. Because if you've ever felt like your mind was spinning, your heart racing, your judgment foggy, you're not alone. When life hits hard, when we get blindsided, most of us don't respond. We react and here's the thing about reaction. It's immediate, emotional, and often unhelpful. Panic is the brain's shortcut. It's our survival instinct. It's the fight or flight mechanism lighting up before we even realize what's happening. The heart starts pounding. Our thoughts jump from worst case scenario to worst case scenario, and suddenly we're not thinking, we're spiraling. But what if I told you that your greatest strength in those moments isn't speed, it's stillness? The pause is where the power lies. It sounds simple. It is simple, but it's not easy, because when things go wrong, everything inside us says, fix it, now, say something, do something, escape this moment. And yet, that's the very moment where restraint becomes your superpower, the moment where slowing down gives you more clarity than rushing in. Psychologists refer to this as response flexibility the ability to interrupt your automatic reactions and choose a more thoughtful response. It's one of the hallmarks of emotional intelligence, and it's built, not born. Like a muscle, the more you train yourself to pause before reacting, the stronger that pause becomes. So why is the pause so powerful? Because it creates a space, a mental gap between what happened and what you do next In that space, you're no longer a prisoner of the moment. You become the architect of your response. Viktor Frankl, the Austrian neurologist and Holocaust survivor, said it best: between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. Let that sink in for a moment. See, panic closes that space. It rushes you into decisions, into words you can't take back, into actions that only deepen the pain. But the pause, the conscious, intentional pause, opens that space back up. It's not about avoidance. It's not about apathy. It's about anchoring yourself so that when you move, you move with precision, not with panic. Let's make this real. You get a text that triggers you. Your instinct is to fire back, defend yourself, prove a point. But what if you paused just 10 seconds? What might you see that you missed before? Maybe the message wasn't as harsh as it seemed. Maybe the other person is operating from their own fear. Or maybe, and this is crucial, it doesn't even deserve your energy. Or maybe it's a situation at work. A project fails, your boss criticizes you unfairly, and suddenly that old voice in your head says you're not good enough. Panic kicks in. You over-apologize, you try to fix everything, you let shame take the wheel. But what if, in that moment, you simply breathed? Centered yourself, you'd see that one mistake doesn't make you incompetent. You'd remember your track record. You'd remember your value. That's the power of the pause. Even in relationships, the pause is often what saves us. When you're frustrated with someone you love, your partner, your parent, your friend, the pause gives you a moment to choose connection over control. It gives you time to ask, is this worth the argument, or is this a moment to listen instead of attack? The pause isn't passive. It's deeply active. It takes strength. It takes self-awareness, and it takes maturity to know that not everything needs a reaction. Sometimes the highest form of wisdom is restraint. I think about how many things in life could have turned out differently, how many relationships, careers, even entire life paths if we just took a beat before reacting. Think about how many people live in regret because they panicked instead of pausing. They let fear drive instead of clarity. They gave in to the emotion of the moment and lost sight of the bigger picture. Now, I'm not saying every situation has a neat ending. Pausing doesn't solve everything, but it positions you to respond better. It positions you to stay grounded while the storm rages on. It keeps your dignity intact, even when things feel out of control, and that's the lesson. You can't always control what comes at you, but you can always decide how you show up in response. And when you do it from a place of calm, when you pause and let the moment breathe, you take your power back. So, the next time life gets loud, the next time your heart starts pounding and your thoughts start racing, remember this. You don't have to match the chaos. You don't have to move with the panic. You can pause, and in that pause you'll find a strength louder than any storm. Here's the reflection I want to leave you with. Stillness isn't weakness, it's mastery. Let your silence speak louder than your fear. Absolutely, here is the expanded 900-word segment for key point 3, focus on the controllables. Continuing with the same smooth, intellectual, yet accessible tone as the previous points. This piece flows naturally within the full speech, building from where we left off. So, once you've paused, once you've quieted the noise and let yourself breathe, the next step is to shift. You shift your focus, because here's what happens after chaos hits. The mind scrambles. It tries to grab hold of everything. It fixates on the unknown, the uncontrollable, the what-ifs and should-haves. We start trying to manage other people's reactions, predict outcomes, or rewrite things that already happened. But the truth is, and it's a hard truth, you don't control much. Not how someone else feels about you. Not what already went wrong, not what tomorrow holds, and definitely not the past. What you control, however, is incredibly powerful and often underestimated. You control your effort, you control your choices, you control the narrative you tell yourself, and most importantly, you control how you respond to what's outside of your control. This is a psychological pivot point. It's the difference between spiraling and stabilizing. When your energy is aimed at things you can't change, you drain yourself. But when your energy is directed at what you can influence, your habits, your reactions, your mindset, that's when momentum starts to build again. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. In fact, it's incredibly tempting to blame, to externalize, to say, I'm stuck because of them, or I'm broken because this happened. But responsibility doesn't mean guilt, it means ownership, and ownership is how we take our power back. Think about a storm. You can't stop the wind, you can't control the rain, but you can learn how to anchor yourself. You can reinforce the structure. You can decide whether you stand there panicking or get to work protecting what matters. The Stoics had a word for this, dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that we suffer more when we confuse what is ours to manage with what never was. He said, some things are up to us and some are not. And if you waste time trying to fix what was never yours to begin with, you lose the energy to take care of what is. And yet, here we are constantly checking our phones to see how people reacted, refreshing our inbox waiting for approval, tying our self-worth to feedback we can't control. We've made our peace of mind a hostage to external outcomes, and when those outcomes disappoint us, which they inevitably do, we collapse. But what if we flipped that? What if success wasn't about outcomes but about alignment, being fully aligned with what you can control, and letting the rest unfold without fear? Let's ground this in something real. Say you apply for a job, you do the prep, you tailor your resume. You walk into the interview with confidence, and then they choose someone else. At that point, what matters more, the result or your process? Because if you gave your best, if you showed up with integrity and effort, you've already won something far deeper than approval. You've built something in yourself, or think about a relationship. You communicate clearly, you lead with honesty. But the other person isn't ready or isn't receptive. Do you spiral, or do you remind yourself, I showed up the right way, that's mine, their reaction, that's theirs? That shift changes everything. It keeps you grounded in your own truth. This mindset doesn't make life easier, but it makes it lighter. It frees you from the burden of trying to micromanage a world that was never meant to be micromanaged. You stop needing perfect conditions to feel stable. You stop outsourcing your peace to things that fluctuate. Instead, you start living from the inside out. And here's the irony, the more you let go of what you can't control, the more in control you actually feel. Because you're not wasting time chasing shadows. You're building what's real. You're planting seeds. You're focused on your craft, your words, your wellness, your mindset, things that, day by day, compound into progress. Even neuroscience supports this. The prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of your brain, functions best when you're grounded, when you feel a sense of autonomy and clarity. And you get that clarity not by controlling everything, but by narrowing your focus to what is yours to own. It's like standing in a room full of noise and choosing to tune your ears only to the one voice that matters, your inner voice. The steady one, the honest one, the one that says, okay, this is what I can do, this is where I begin. So when the world feels overwhelming, ask yourself this simple question, what is mine to carry and what's not? Then act only on what's yours. That's where real progress lives. That's where peace is built. And don't get discouraged if results take time. Focusing on the controllables doesn't always yield instant wins, but it always leads to growth, and that growth, that's what makes you unshakable. Here's the final thought I want to leave you with. Let go of what's beyond you. Lean fully into what's within you. And watch your strength reveal itself, one focused action at a time. Here's the expanded 900-word segment for key point 4. You get to start over every day, continuing seamlessly from earlier points and maintaining the same grounded, clear, and psychologically deep tone inspired by Jefferson Fisher's communication style. Let's step back for a second and zoom out on the bigger picture, because even when you've learned to stop letting one bad day define you, even when you've learned to pause instead of panic, even when you've trained yourself to focus only on what you can control, life still happens. You'll still wake up some mornings feeling heavy. There will still be days when the weight of what you're carrying makes it hard to even start. And that's where this next truth becomes not just helpful, but essential. You get to begin again. Every single day. I want you to really sit with that. This isn't some poetic sentiment. This is a mindset rooted in both psychology and personal agency. The ability to mentally and emotionally reset is what separates those who get stuck from those who move forward. Because here's what tends to happen. We collect baggage. We stack yesterday's mistakes, last week's regrets, last year's failures, and we carry them all into today. Unchecked, that load grows heavier. And over time, we start believing that the weight is just part of us. That the burnout, the shame, the disappointment, it's not just something we're feeling anymore. It's who we've become . But it's not. That identity is optional, and every new sunrise gives you a chance to rewrite the internal story you've been telling yourself. Think of the mind like a desk. If you never clear it, never reset, then the clutter of everything unresolved begins to block your ability to focus, to create, to respond. You start reacting based on yesterday's emotions instead of today's truth. Resetting your mind doesn't mean ignoring what happened. It means reframing it, processing it, then choosing to start fresh. This isn't denial, this is discipline. And it's supported by how the brain actually functions. Neuroscience tells us the brain is plastic, meaning it changes. Daily, thought by thought, habit by habit. You are not stuck with yesterday's wiring. Every morning, you have the opportunity to choose a different path, even if it's just 1% different. And over time, those small resets add up to major transformation. But the reset isn't automatic. You have to choose it. You have to protect it. That might mean creating space in the morning to reflect before the world gets loud. That might mean letting go of the need to fix yesterday and instead asking, what does forward look like today? It might mean forgiving yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you refuse to carry guilt as your identity. Resetting your mind is a habit, and like any habit, it takes practice. Some mornings it'll feel easier. Some mornings it'll feel like climbing a mountain. But here's the truth. The effort is always worth it. Because the alternative staying stuck in cycles of rumination and self-blame, that's the kind of slow erosion that steals years from people. We've all seen it. Someone lets one failure define them, one loss hardens them, one chapter closes, and they forget to turn the page. They think it's the end, but really, it was just a pause, a plot twist, a detour that could have led somewhere even deeper, even richer, if they had chosen to begin again. And don't get me wrong, starting over doesn't always look dramatic. You don't have to quit your job, move cities, or tear your life down to feel new. Sometimes, starting over looks like choosing not to believe the same lie you told yourself yesterday. Sometimes it's as simple as showing up anyway, even when you don't feel ready. Sometimes it's doing the hard thing without waiting to feel motivated, because you've decided that showing up is who you are now. One of the most empowering beliefs you can adopt is this: I am allowed to begin again as many times as I need. That belief sets you free from perfectionism, from shame, from the myth that you have to have it all figured out. You don't. You just need the willingness to return to the table, to show up with fresh eyes, to meet yourself where you are and take the next step, not the final step, just the next one. And here's the beauty of it. The more you practice starting fresh, the less intimidating failure becomes. The less paralyzing mistakes feel. You stop fearing missteps because you know they don't own you. You know you can always return. Always realign, always rebuild. The strongest people you know aren't those who have never fallen. They're the ones who got good at standing back up, resetting, re-engaging, and moving forward, even with dust on their shoulders. So maybe yesterday was messy. Maybe you said the wrong thing. Maybe you didn't show up the way you wanted to. Maybe you broke a promise to yourself. Okay, acknowledge it, learn from it, and then reset. Because today isn't yesterday, and you are not your worst moment. You are a living, evolving being, and that means you are allowed to grow, to edit, to reset, to begin again. So here's the thought. I want to leave you with something to carry into your next morning, and the one after that. No matter how yesterday ended, today is undefeated. And so are you if you choose to begin again.